Hi, Nancy.
Hey, how
How
are
are
you?
you? It's been a long day, right?
Yeah, but it's been great. I'd rather
Good,
spend long days doing this.
good. So the this that we're doing is day 3 of Hear Her Call Caribbean American Women's Theater Festival. The final day, March 7th, 2020?
20.
Okay, 2020, just remember it. So tell me, how was the experience? We just took part in a panel discussion led by Cassandra Medley, which was like full of a lot of viewpoints on future goals as a writer, as a Caribbean American writer. What do you think ended up for you being the key point of what is distinct about the Caribbean American voice? Because that's a big question that I have.
Um, it's hard to boil it down to just one thing,
Mm-hmm.
but having taken part in this festival with so many other women who were of distinct backgrounds, but for me, one of the things that really came through was how much we actually had in common.
Exactly.
And just realizing that and all of the stories that we want to tell have so much in common. And if we had more opportunities like this where we could just get together and converse and share work, it's kind of mind-blowing to think, like, how far could we actually get?
Right.
And I'm thankful for this experience, first of all, because it just taught me so much, like on the technical side. It was my first time like
Really?
interacting with like the lighting people and sound people. So I felt like a big deal, like, hey, I can do this. But it was also a great opportunity to just spend downtime with the other writers and performers and to just chat and talk about our stories, but also take part in these discussions where we're talking about our goals and what our influences are and starting to build that community, because at least for me, it first of all makes me feel like I'm not alone as a woman, as a Caribbean American woman, as an artist, as a writer, because so many times you feel like you're in your own head or like just in your own space. But it also gives me hope for my own work and just expanding the possibilities, not just for me, but for the people who are in the audience and thinking, wow, that's my story, or I never thought that that could be talked about.
Right.
Because so many of us were also talking about, oh, we're not supposed to talk about this kind of stuff.
The whole shush shush in the Caribbean American, the Caribbean community, that those things shouldn't be mentioned.
Exactly.
Right.
All of these stories of shame or
Right.
these things that just hold us back. But if we all just share and realize, oh my God, I'm not the only one who's burdened with this, and I'm not a freak for
Right.
having this.
Right.
So it's been a powerful experience on so many levels. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Nancy's play, Lucky, was an amazingly comedic piece about blessings coming out of nowhere and how Puerto Ricans take instances that may not seem like blessings to others, but translate it into a blessing, which a lot of Caribbean people do. Because if you
Yeah.
really look at our journey, I mean, we live in places where hurricanes occur, earthquakes occur. There's a lack of sustenance. There's a lot of issues, and yet we make new music, we make art, we thrive, we have passion. I mean, you go through all the countries, all those 28 islands in the Caribbean, and that ability to translate what is quote unquote a misfortune into new opportunity. That's one of those themes that I felt really resonated among all the people who are participating, that in the face of darkness there is still light.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out, because I was hoping that that would come through in the piece. And also for so many of us, yes, life on the island, we have to make the best of like shitty situations,
Shitty situation.
but it's the same when we come here.
Right,
And
right.
the land of supposed opportunity and all of the obstacles that so many of us face, whether we're born here or we arrive here, from our native nations. It's not easy, but yet how many of us still prosper? And I was also hoping that people would notice like the touch of duality in the title, because yeah, it's so easy to say, oh, that's so lucky, but it's not. It's something that's ingrained in us, like that pa'lante, that always going forward, that's
Yeah.
Puerto Rican,
Yeah.
is shared among all of us. It's
Yeah.
like, no, it's not luck. It's damn hard work, and it's this
Perseverance.
resiliency.
Resilience, yeah.
It's like, I will not be kept down.
And I don't know what it is that gives us that, but I feel fortunate when I witness, people in my family overcoming, and I realize we're not supposed to quit. We're not allowed to quit.
Yeah.
I look at my mother who came here and stayed in the 60s. Scary times.
Yeah.
And the story that Ingrid tells of Shirley Chisholm in the 30s, going to college in the 40s, major unwillingness to be held back.
Yeah. And I mean, lucky does have its very comical side, but one of the things that I realized when I was thinking about it for this festival was giving up was like never even an option. It never entered my mind to just cancel class and go home.
Right.
It was like, no, it doesn't matter what you throw my way. I'm just going to keep
Push
going,
through.
and I'm going to make it to that class, and I'm going to show these kids what can be done, because quit, what the hell is that?
Exactly.
And it was interesting to hear how much of that flavors everybody else's experience and story.
Thank you so much, Nancy. And thank you for joining us. This moment, this Meet the Artist moment, which I really feel is important, because we can't be talking about Caribbean American artists and their work without meeting them.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me to participate.
Thank you. To the future.
Pa'lante.
Pa'lante.